Hey friends, it's Alex from Vulture Culture, and today we're going to be looking at the different editors for the Logue series of analog synths by Korg. I have a Prologue 16 sitting in front of me, but the devs of the editors also make versions for the Minilogue XD, the Minilogue, the Monologue, and the NTS-1. I bought these editors and tried them out so that you don't have to. By the way, an editor is a way to integrate your hardware synth into your DAW so you can do things like automate parameters, as well as access some of the hidden variables that are under the hood of the different synths that you're using. Without further ado, let's dive into it. So first we'll look at the editor made by Momo. I'll put the link in the description, and it's $8 after you convert from Euro. This guy is pretty awesome, and for $8 it's a complete steal. You can see that it mirrors the Prologue exactly, and as I turn a knob you get the one-to-one function here. The standout feature of this controller is the XY pad. So you can assign, say, the filter cutoff and the filter resonance here, and then as you play, you can control both of those variables at the same time on an XY pad and write that automation into your DAW by recording it. Or if you have a hardware controller that has an XY pad, you can use that for when you're playing live or something, which is really cool. The downsides of this editor is that you can see that it doesn't have a lot of variables for the multi-engine. We don't even have the type knob here. So you can see we actually don't have much more than what we have on the front panel here, which you already have the front panel to tweak. So it's kind of cool in the sense that you could use it for live use, but if you want to do stuff like change the effect types and stuff, that's totally not going to happen. The other thing that's not great about this is there's no way to see what's going on with a preset. So for instance, I don't use presets in my productions, but I think presets are great for learning a synth. You pull up a preset that sounds really cool and you're like, oh, how did they do that? Well, with this, when I change the presets, let's say I go to new modulator, it's clearly something going on with the multi-engine, but I have no way of knowing what that is because the knobs don't jump to what's going on currently with the synth. They only jump when you move them. So you can see that they do stuff, but you can't, learn what's going on with the preset with this editor. For that, we need to go to the one by Sunny Synths. Okay, so you can see this editor is a lot bigger and it's got a lot more knobs. So first off, we do get all of the knobs of the multi-engine, including the shift shape, and we have a whole lot of other stuff going on. But like, let's say for instance, we want to go, let me go move over to this patch, the D51, which was a really cool patch inspired by Eric Persing's D51 preset, or D50 preset. It's really cool sounding. Sounds like there's a high pass filter in there or something. You'll notice that the knobs didn't jump again, although of course if I move stuff, it'll move there. But what we do is we hit the receive button, press OK to receive the current program from your Prologue buffer, and all of the knobs have just jumped to what's going on the Prologue right now with this preset. And I can even go into get deeper, and there's all of these VPM engine stuff. And you see it's all on this particular patch, just left it at the default values. But we can see exactly what's going on and see that really there's not a lot going on with the VPM, which is interesting. So we can see it's actually routed pre-filter. If I move this to post-filter, you'll hear nothing has changed, but if I have to hit this little send button here, and now you can hear that the multi-engine is routed after the VCF. So it's really cool that we can see all of this stuff. Same thing here. If we wanted to, I'll move it before and send it again. So now it's back before the VCF, but let's set the expression pedal to the cutoff. So when I do this and I move my expression pedal, I have a Moog expression pedal under the desk. Nothing's happening yet. I just have to hit send. So that's me moving my foot under the desk. But you can control all of that really useful stuff directly from the panel, whereas you have to get into the fucking little program editing thing with the little screen, which that type of shit drives me crazy. So this is so much more useful if I'm making a patch to have this up for doing that. Here's another example of something cool we could do. We could go into the delay reverb. Right now it's got tape BPM, but why don't we can move this to reverb and set it to riser. We'll send that. We get that famous shimmer effect. But what we can do to get, actually, why don't we move it over to smooth? I like smooth. I'll turn the time all the way up and the wet all the way up. So now we get more of like an ambient thing. really, really, really beautiful and cool. And I didn't even know there was a dry wet parameter in the Prologue. I guess somewhere in the program edit menu you can find that, but it's here and it's very easy to get to. And all of this stuff can get saved into your project and recalled later. So it's a really great thing. You can save your patches, stuff like that. It really goes so much further than the Momo editor, which is useful, but I think this is the way to go. So to summarize, this is $30, and it's kind of a little bit of a bitch to get, because I had to email back and forth with the guy who created it a few times. I wish there was just like a Shopify link where you could just download it, but unfortunately that's not the case. It's still only $30 after you convert from Euro, which is still a steal. In my opinion, save the $8 and get this one. It is really awesome, and this would apply for the Minilogue XD, Minilogue, etc. The controller editor is just so much deeper, so much more useful. The exception being the person who's got an XY pad for playing live. If that's your thing, or you're just a guy who's like, yo, I just like playing some of the patches and I just want to be able to write some automation into my project, then that's okay too. Maybe that's the way to go. But I think for real control, you could do all of that automation, parameter automation with this too. The only thing is it's not as easy as with the XY pad. So you get a little bit of with both, but if you were only buy one, it would absolutely be this one in my opinion. That's only my opinion, and if you disagree with me, then let me know in the comments. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you do have any questions, leave them in the comments for me below. Like and subscribe to the channel, it makes a huge difference, and I'll see you next week in another video.